Hello, my Italian food fanatics. Today we're going to make a wonderful pasta dish. It has nothing to do with cucina-povera. In fact, it uses saffron, it uses cream, it uses Parmigiano-Reggiano. It's, of course, Ditali with saffron, cauliflower, and a tomato cream sauce, and it is out of this world. But before we get into the kitchen, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, hit the bell button so you know when I release a new video. Share with your friends. Remember, sharing is caring, and leave a comment down below if you have a moment, and I know you have a moment. This is a somewhat more involved pasta dish than we normally make. It's a little indulgent because it does use saffron, which is the world's most expensive spice. And we're using Persian saffron, so that's the best stuff in the entire world. So let's not talk about it anymore. Let's get into the kitchen and make this delicious Ditali with saffron, cauliflower, and a tomato cream sauce. Oh boy, you're gonna love it. All right, let's get started. This is somewhat of an involved dish, but it's not impossible to make. It's a little bit complicated, but we're gonna use olive oil, California, extra virgin, 100% organic. We use some anchovies. We'll use some red pepper. We're also going to use some fresh breadcrumbs. Along with that, we'll use a little bit of heavy cream. Obviously, we're using Ditali pasta. We'll use some saffron, parsley, garlic. We're going to finish the dish with a little Parmigiano-Reggiano. And along with all of that, obviously we're using some cauliflower. We're going to be using some tomatoes. In this case, I've chosen the cherry tomatoes. These are canned. They come from the northern part of Italy, and they're canned at their peak freshness. These are phenomenal. The Muti brand is very, very good. And finally, we're going to use some sun-dried tomatoes. Now, let me explain what we need to do. The sun-dried tomatoes need to be chopped up and made into a paste. The garlic needs to be chopped into fine pieces. Same thing with the parsley, the stems removed and the leaves chopped. We're going to take these tomatoes and we're going to remove the juice, and we're just going to use the meat of the tomatoes. The bread has to be put into a food processor and spun up because we want these to be breadcrumbs, fresh breadcrumbs. And finally, we're going to take our broccoli, we're going to remove these stems and create small florets out of them. And any anomalies, like you see the little bit of discoloration there, that has to go as well. So let me do all of that and I will be back. All right, we're back. Our parsley has been chopped. Our garlic has also been minced. Our cauliflower has been made into florets and all anomalies removed. This is our tomato without the juice, chopped up. And finally, our breadcrumbs and sun-dried tomatoes. The breadcrumbs have been spun up, and the sun-dried tomatoes have been mashed into a paste almost. We are now ready to take these ingredients and some others that we talked about earlier and go onto the stove. Okay, in the meantime, I've transferred our saffron to a very small bowl, and we're going to add a little bit of water on here to cover and to just let it steep. All right, this is Persian saffron. It's the best saffron in the world. It has a beautiful color to it, and so to extend it and to get the most out of it, what we want to do is take some hot water and let it steep in there until we need to use it later on in the recipe. And you want to do this pretty quickly. In fact, before you even start, you can do something like this to ensure that you're getting the most out of the saffron, because it is extremely expensive. Okay, now we're going to turn our attention to the cauliflower. We have a frying pan. We're going to put it on about a medium heat. We'll add a little bit of olive oil in here. And we're going to cook the cauliflower until it begins to soften a little bit. All right? We don't want to color it. We just want it to cook. So we'll continue on with this, and I will give you an update in just a few minutes. All right, you can see how our cauliflower is coated nicely with the oil, and it's cooking along. It's not getting colored, and I'm moving it around to ensure that it doesn't get color on any one particular place. All right, it's been about 5 minutes, and our broccoli is just starting to soften up a little bit. What we're going to do now is add a little bit of chili. I actually like a lot of chili, but I don't really consider that to be a lot. And our garlic. And we're going to basically cook this for about a minute. All right, now that these have been cooking for about a minute, I've taken our sun-dried tomatoes, I've added a little bit of water to them, and we're going to add them into here, just like that. And we're going to now cover this and cook for about 15 to 20 minutes on a low heat until the cauliflower is soft. All right, I just want to show you, we're bringing this up to temperature, and now I'm going to push in all of the different things from the sides, because that's flavor as well, to make sure they go in there. We'll turn the heat down and cover, and we're going to simmer for about 15 minutes. Okay, I have a small pan. I've added a little bit of olive oil into it. We are going to bring up the heat and turn it down really, really low and add in our anchovies. What we're going to do is, on a very low flame, we're going to allow these anchovies to slowly come up to temperature and literally melt into the oil. And when that's done, we will set them aside. Right now, we are going to turn our attention to our breadcrumbs. All right. Here I have a second pan that's identical to the one that we're using for our anchovies. You see how they're sort of melting in there. And we're going to take care of our breadcrumbs now. I'm going to put it on about a medium heat. We'll add a little bit of olive oil into the pan. I like to use these non-stick pans for this. And we'll put in our breadcrumbs. And just like we always do, we're going to keep them moving around inside until they turn golden. All right, very simple process, and it happens within just a few minutes. As you can see, our breadcrumbs are slowly turning a nice brown, and we have to keep them moving, otherwise they're going to burn in certain parts, but we're almost done. I'm not going to bore you by bringing you back to show you when they're done. We'll just assume that you'll see. In fact, look, they're literally done about right now anyway. So let me take these off, and we'll move forward. All right, I also wanted to show you that this is our anchovies, and they have totally melted into the oil. And now we'll take them off and reserve them, put them off to the side. All right. While our cauliflower is cooking away and our saffron is steeping, I'm going to put 5 cups this time of water on to boil in a sauce pot. When this comes to a boil, what we're going to do is add 3 teaspoons of salt, regular table salt, and our Ditali pasta, and we'll cook it until it's al dente, and then put the rest of the dish together. All right, our water has come to a boil. I've added salt, and now it's time to add our pasta. We're going to move it around a little bit to make sure that it doesn't stick. All we need to do is move it around for the first 30 seconds or so until the top layer of the starch gels, and then the pasta will not stick. All right, here's our sauce. It's been cooking away. Cauliflower is nicely soft, not very soft, but soft cooked. We're now going to take our reserved anchovies, if you remember, in our oil, and we're going to add those in. We're also going to take our saffron. We're actually just going to use the water to give it a nice saffron flavor, and we'll add our tomatoes in as well. I'm going to turn up the heat, and we're going to cook until the cauliflower is very, very soft, and we're going to break these up, these larger chunks, into smaller pieces, and let this reduce down just a little bit. Okay, our pasta is almost ready, and our broccoli is very soft, and I've broken it up into smaller pieces. We're now going to add in a little bit of heavy cream and some parsley. We'll mix that in, bring it back up to temperature, and then I'm going to taste and adjust for seasoning before our pasta is ready in just a couple of minutes. All right, so I have tasted this, and it does need a little bit of salt. Got to also remember that we're going to be adding the pasta, and that's also salted, so not too much. I'm going to give it a few turns of some black pepper. Taste again, and I'll be back. All right, our pasta is ready. Now we are going to add it into our pan. In fact, I'll turn this off, and look at this. How beautiful is that? We'll mix this around just a little bit so that the pasta can take on the flavors of the sauce or the condimenti. We don't really need any pasta water, but let's mix this around a little bit. And we're going to let it cook down just slightly, because I've taken the pasta out about 1 minute early. That's perfect. The cream and the tomatoes and the anchovies and the saffron. I mean, how sweet it is. It doesn't get better than this. All right. It's literally perfect. Let's dish it up. All right, my Italian food fanatics, you saw me dish it up. The Ditali with cauliflower, saffron, and a tomato cream sauce. Now, let's see if it's any good. Now, you notice that there was Parmesan cheese and breadcrumbs, and of course saffron. So you know this is definitely not cucina povera. This is cucina spend some money. Now, obviously, right off the bat, there's the crunch from the breadcrumbs. You can taste a little bit of olive oil in there. The saffron flavor is very prominent. You taste some cauliflower, which you should, of course. There's a lot of heat. There's the tomatoes. I didn't add a lot of cream, but there is creaminess from this. This is a very extravagant sort of a dish. You can also taste the anchovies because we didn't really cook them in there. We just kind of melted them in with the oil, and the oil still retains its flavor, so you can taste that in there too. This is a very multi-dimensional dish, And the linchpin, the very key, is to making sure that the cauliflower retains its integrity and also that the pasta is al dente. If you don't get those two things right, it's not going to be any good. Thankfully, you can see these pieces of cauliflower. Soft, nice, delicious. Anyway, I'm going to finish this, but before I go, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, hit the bell button so that you know when I release another video. I want you to know. Of course, if you don't want to know, then don't hit the bell button, but I want you to know. So hit the bell button, share with your friends. Remember, sharing is caring, and leave a comment down below if you have a moment. If you've gotten this far, I'm sure you have a moment to leave me a comment. I want to thank you very much for looking at the video today and for following my channel. If you do, for subscribing. No matter where you are in the world, I hope you're having a great day. I wish you nothing but good health, happiness, and prosperity. Thank you again very much, and I'll see you in our next video.